Hey, it's John Doran, editor of Backpacker. We're back to talk about packing again. Now, we've just walked through what you need for a long day hike. And if you're ready to step up, start doing some overnight trips, whether it's a weekend or a week-long trip or something even longer, more remote in tougher conditions, the best place to start is go to backpacker.com. We've got a bunch of gear checklists. They're really comprehensive. They'll give you a sense of everything that you might want to carry in your pack. Right now, we're going to talk about a few of the trade-offs that I've sort of learned to make over the years in packing for a weekend trip versus packing for, say, a 7-day trip way back in the mountains. Now, tent choices are really determined by the type of trip and the weather that I'm going to find out there. I might take a tiny little, 3.5 pound tent like this on almost any trip if the weather is going to be fair. But if I'm going out for a long time, I want a living space, I want good protection from wind and rain and maybe even snow, I'm going to upgrade to a beefier, more bomb-proof tent like this, which is going to give me more space inside. It's also typically going to have more poles for a strong structure, more guy outlines, vestibules for storing wet packs, and more. Likewise, depending on the kind of trip I'm taking, the kind of footing, the terrain that I'm on, the kind of weight that I've got in my pack, I'll make different choices about my footwear. If I'm going on a shorter trip and really smooth trails, I'll go with a low-top hiking shoe, again, less weight. But if I've got a bigger pack and I'm going somewhere where it's rocky or rooty, or I might sprain my ankle, or I might need a lot better traction, I'll go with a bigger above-ankle hiking boot. Now, when it comes to cookware, you can make any kind of choice you want for any trip based on whether you're a simple cooker or a gourmet chef. But generally speaking, for the shorter trips, again, I'm trying to go with a smaller stove, and I might arrange my food so that I'm only cooking things that require me to boil water. For a longer trip, and certainly if I've got more people on the trip, I'm going to go with a bigger cooking system, a sturdier stove, also multiple pots so I can cook a lot of volume at once, or maybe even have a couple pots going at once. Food storage, particularly in the mountains, is something that's really critical. If I'm going someplace where I know there are a lot of bears are a big risk, I'll go with a hard-sided bear food canister. Most of the rest of the time, I'm going to carry my Ursack, which is a Kevlar reinforced bear bag that you don't really even need to hang from a tree because it's too tough for most bears to claw through, and it's, to be honest, great protection against rodents too. It's, again, lighter, easier to pack than a big full-on hard shell food canister. And then I've got these choices made. These are sort of the most significant choices I'm making apart from my food and clothing selection, which are really all depending on personal taste and weather. That determines what size of pack I'm going to carry. Most people these days are carrying internal frame packs, and the rule of thumb for packing one of these for maximum comfort and stability is to put lighter items at the bottom. This is my sleeping bag. It's in a compression style sack. Also to put heavier items sort of in the middle of the pack and as close to your back, as close to the frame as possible. I like putting my tent poles and other heavy items right down against that frame, not only to get the weight against my back where it's going to be easiest to carry, but also to protect it from other objects so it don't get bent or broken. Then gradually I sort of take heavier items in the middle to the top, and then at the top I'll have my clothes bag where I've got my rain gear, probably my snack bag, things that I want to have quick, easy access to if I don't have one of these packs that zips open down the middle. And again, the best place to start with this is backpacker.com. We've got 3-season gear checklists, a whole lot of other gear checklists depending on the type of activity you're doing and what season you're doing it in.